Anybody's here ready? I think he's.
He said he was coming. It might be just a little late. We're going to start.
I'll go ahead and call the meeting of the City of Tennessee Ridge open. I think everybody got their packets. You've had time to look at the last month's minutes. We'll need a motion and a second to approve them.
Motion approved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. First thing under old business is the City Hall and the safe room.
I think we need to add one thing on to this before we let Seth go to talking. If y'all remember the design that we agreed upon back about 6 months ago, it's totally changed. The outside exterior of the building. There's a certain thing that you've got to meet with on this 225 mile an hour safe room. And me and Seth had talked, and rather than have this building look this way, this building look another way, that we're going to kind of go uniform with both buildings, and it won't be quite as stand out as bad as what. It's not going to be a gable roof. It's going to have a concrete roof over the whole building now, and it'll probably be made out of a concrete structure holding up this roof with I-beams on it. Seth has got some rough designs. It looks pretty nice. It's going to it will kind of remind you of the look of Mobley Store, that type of a roof with everything draining from the front to the back. Me and Seth had talked, and our thoughts was if we go back, make the storm shelter with a flat roof and then a gable roof on our City Hall, that somewhere down the line we'd end up having a leak where the two buildings join. So if we just carry one roof line all the way across, we shouldn't have no leak problems down the road. And the cost effectiveness of it is going to be pretty close to the same. And I'll turn it over to Seth, and he can kind of fill in anything that you need to ask questions, and he's got some pictures there.
Yeah, and I think probably we'll save some money on not having to make a false roof on top to resemble a gable over a part that actually already has the structure there that's part of the safe room. So Nancy was holding up a small version of that, and I can just show you a little bit bigger one. It might be a little easier to see here. But as you can see, the top view is just the floor plan, and that stayed basically the same as like Kenneth said. And when we were going to try to merge the two designs and have our dividing wall, our storm wall in between, and have all of this part being the safe room, and then have the City Hall administration portion, be side by side with it. But we got to looking at this, and we think we can keep it very cost effective by having actually the reinforced walls all the way around the building, and then having the reinforced roof structure around the building. Another advantage that it gives is that that storm rating that you're getting for this part will actually apply to the rest of the building. Now there's some things such as windows that will be present over in the admin portion that probably wouldn't want to be around during a storm event. But as far as the structure itself, will be designed to withstand the same wind loads throughout the building. So you actually, I think it's a better design. It wasn't quite as, I guess, the seamless look that I wanted going from the other stick frame design that we had to this one. But we can do some things to dress this up some, I think, to make it look, a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But it'll have an offset. If you look at it from one side, this is the administration City Hall part of the building, and you'll have a gable. We'll have a gable roof with a porch out here, and then this side is where the safe room is. And again, we omitted windows from up here because of the FEMA requirements. And if you start adding windows, you got to start adding the shutter system that's has to withstand those same wind loads. So we've tried to keep this part consistent with what the FEMA guidelines. So that's why we don't have another entrance right here. But it'll be the main access will be for the safety will be through the City Hall. So that's what we've got. And like I said, largely we've kept we've moved the bathrooms from the center to the back here, but we've kept the kitchen in the design, and everything is, I really believe this will be a better use of our money, and we'll have an entire structure that is going to withstand the conditions that we want, we wanted the safe room originally to withstand.
And actually, excuse me, but actually on the exterior part of that is going to be a simulated brick rather than just a flat concrete wall. And if you'll fill them in on just a little bit of that, Seth.
Yeah, and I'll try to bring, I'll get with the architect, and I'll try to bring us a sample of that form, but it's basically a form that when you're forming the concrete up, you actually have, it has some insulation in it, and then it has the outer layer, looks just like, when you take the form off, it looks just like, a brick surface. So unless you really know what you're looking at or know how it's constructed, you're not going to be able to tell that that's not a brick exterior. So it'll look like brick, except it will actually be part of that formed, concrete wall. And like I said, there's a layer of insulation in between that's put in when the form is put in, and it really increases the efficiency of the building. So I think you're going to get a lot more efficient building, energy efficient building too, doing it this way. And like I say, to the naked eye, you're not going to be able to tell that it wasn't put up a brick at a time. It's going to be cast in there. And I can bring some samples of that too when we're picking the final, final exterior look, and bring those into the building committee and share those with the board to kind of pick that final look.
What's the square footage of the whole thing, and then what's the square footage of the safe room?
The square footage of the whole building is approximately 4,700 square feet now, and the safe room itself, the open part, is 2,000 square feet, and the bathroom and things like that are behind that are like 1,000 square feet. So the safe room, basically, it gave us another, really close to another 2,000 square feet is what it gave us. So we were looking at around a 3,500 to 3,700 square foot building before.
And that can be used for a community room. And
Community
all that
room. And me and Seth is, we had a place in the back of the other one for meeting purposes, which we believe we'll still be able to take this corner in the front, lower corner, and we can have us a temporary, per se, podium or a stage built there that's removable. The biggest thing is as long as it is removable, that if FEMA comes in and wants it moved, you can move it. So it'll be we'll still have a place to have our board meetings and set the chairs up out in the audience and be a nice, I believe it'll turn out being really nice.
I think that's the key with the chairs and things in here too, that they're movable. And so in the event of a storm, if there are things left out on the floor, then the safe room administrators, basically the city employees, will be able to come in and move that stuff to a storage room, or get it out of the main part of the floor.
Well, like Erin has that, don't they? And there's pretty much, they can put it off the floor and all that.
I think so. So we'll just have, when picking what type of furniture that's in there, we just need to keep those guidelines in mind. In the FEMA, the 361 manual, I think it has some guidance on, what kind of things you can keep in there. But they want you to use, they want you to use this for your, for other purposes, but it just has to be ready when the storm is imminent. It has to be ready to, ready to be used for that purpose. So.
Well, what about the efficiency of you said the flat versus the cable? I would think the flat one would be more prone to leaks than the other one.
Well, as far as efficiency goes, I was just referring to the walls, the outer walls. As far as the slab goes, yeah, of course, the more pitch you put on there, it would shed the water more quickly. But it's going to have some. It's not going to be completely flat. It will be elevated in the front and sloped toward the back, so it'll have enough, we believe, enough pitch on it to shed the water like it should. So it won't be totally flat. It'll actually be up a few, several inches in the top versus the back. So it will grade in that way. But that is one disadvantage you do have is you can't get as sharp of an angle on your roof.
And Nancy and Seth, myself, met with Lola 2 weeks ago, about last Friday, week ago. and got everything with rural development, signed the loan, and we actually got a $14,000,
15,490.
$15,000 grant from them. So, that was something we wasn't expecting, so.
And that's what,
Woody?
I forgot to give them one.
So, all that's been, taken care of with rural development, and, she said everything looked good and was on track. Anything you want to add to that, Seth, or?
Just, she's very helpful, Miss Lola Martita that worked for USDA. It was along with Nancy and Leslie, just very helpful in making it all come off as far as that goes. She
Right.
came down and met with us on the time that was convenient for. Actually, they were there around 8 o'clock in the morning
Right.
from Nashville, so that was a good
Yeah.
good thing. But I think I guess if she needs more information from us, she'll be asking
Yeah.
for it. But right now, I'm pleased with the way it's going.
What's our timeline now as far as getting the ball rolling?
We discussed that, too. I think we're actually a little ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I need to go back. I probably need to go back and review that, but we're not far off from what we thought. That little delay we
Right.
had back
Yeah.
when we thought the funding that might throw us off a little bit. But now that we've got the concept revised, we're going to basically the two plans merged. We're going to develop construction drawings and go ahead with getting a bid package together now.
When do we expect to let bids out and accept them and all that stuff? Do you know yet?
I'm not for sure on the exact date, Tim, but I definitely will work to try to get those.
I know we talked about maybe something needed to be done before June 30th, before the fiscal year ended. Are we good with that? Have we done what we needed to do to, that may have been with Lola and stuff, that may have been.
Yeah, we're right on schedule with her, the way
Okay.
she talked, and we discussed the bid. We talked like 6 to 8 weeks, which would put it, we're probably mid-June, maybe getting, that's just a guess, but maybe having it ready for a bid, let out the bid for mid-June, and maybe you said something about running it 3 weeks,
Yeah, I
run the
think we
bid.
need at least 3 weeks for the advertisement, and maybe a month for the advertisement, depending on how it falls,
Right.
before the successive
So,
board meeting there.
You're better off 4 weeks in advertising. You give you more time to contract.
Get everything.
Once there and get prices together.
Right.
You'll get a better price getting it forward.
With 3. So I believe everything is on the timeline then, so where we could do that, where we could run the 4 weeks, and that would put it probably closer to the end of July. Maybe by fall, we could have maybe get started on it. So, hopefully, anyway. Anything else on the city hall? Anybody? Next thing under old business is the sheriff department lease. Sid,
I spoke to Darrell today,
okay,
and he picked up the lease from Sid, and they've kind of been busy the last month. He said that he still is going to do it, still wants to do it, and it just may be another month down the road, which that'll work, 'cause we're going to fix to be in the process of pouring the parking lot over there.
okay. So he did pick it up?
He did pick it up.
He's picked it up. I tried to call him today, but I was able to get a hold of him.
I went by out there this morning and talked to him.
Next thing under old business is the street light at Ostawig. Joe, can you call me what it was?
I did, and Mike, their engineer, went out and looked at it, and it's $352.50 will be the price of the light. That's for the pole, setting of it, and the construction cost that's incurred with it.
Okay. I think they just do that and just bill us back, don't they, on that? They have in the past.
Right.
have to pay that up front. Then they bill the light each month.
Okay. Okay.
Where's that gonna place? In the middle?
It's gonna be down it's gonna be pretty close to halfway.
Cause that really is tall.
Yes, ma'am, it is. It is gonna be pretty close to halfway.
Oh, yeah,
It's gonna be right below,
Johnny Bush.
actually right above his house, about halfway between there and the main road. It's according to their little drawing, it's kind of where it looks like it's gonna be at. And of course, they'll put a stake down when we tell them that we actually want to pursue with it and have a better idea exactly what it's talking about.
Next thing under old business is the fire department transfers.
We're gonna do the light.
Oh,
We need to.
yeah, I thought we voted to, do the light last time. I don't know about the rest.
It didn't get to make it in a minute.
Okay.
We just need to approve the 35260.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Oh, yes.
Next thing is fire department transfers.
And Spencer had to work at their last meeting, and I did request him to be here to find out what it was for, and I actually have spoken with him, and he's gonna do some painting on the fire hall, but if y'all have any questions.
You see, there's papers in the back of his report. Next page.
Their last one.
Okay. So you gotta do some maintenance on the building?
We already got the inside of the bay area painted. I'd like to get another coat on the outside before it fades out any further, and maybe some kind of coat on the floor inside the bay area.
Okay. So it's a total of 3,500.
This isn't new money, it's just moving from one thing to another.
Yes.
Need a motion and a second to transfer the 2,000 from the propane line and move it to the station, and 1,500 from training to the sundries.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
And did you go? No? Pass. One pass.
I thought I seen something on
Next thing is, second reading on buying the riding mower we discussed last month. Jerry, y'all did get that?
Yes, we got it made.
Okay.
There's actually an ordinance in your package.
Yeah. Ordinance number 2012-134, second reading.
Got it for 24.29.
I looked at it there a while ago. 24.29, yeah, that's on the first. Made a motion and a second to approve the riding mower.
Motion to approve, purchase the riding mower.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Oh, yes.
I know it's not on the agenda, but under old business, Dean, we still on our, well,
It's still in.
it's still in, we're still there.
It's still there. Because they had it, like, wrong with it. I thought-
You hadn't heard nothing?
Those of you are still in it, or anything.
That's one of them deals that no news is good news.
What, got a quick question for you. Where we at on our, moratorium up here? Did you ever get a hold of him?
I have talked to him twice, and I'm not got, each time I hear he's gonna get back with me, he's got somebody looking into it. I'll talk to him 2 weeks ago. So I'll give him a call.
'Cause, you know, if we get started with this city hall, we can't make a tap with it until that moratorium is lifted, correct?
Dana,
You're right, yeah.
are you aware here to start their sewer project, they've been videoing for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I knew they'd started, and I mentioned that Patrick when I talked to him. I don't think he
We got air conditioning running back here, it's hard to hear.
Yeah, I did. When I spoke to him, I told him that Aaron was working on theirs also. I'll get back with him tomorrow, Wednesday, again, so, we'll send him letters. And then shake up over there, a couple of folks out of Paul Davis and a couple others were let go from over there, and then, so, pull the structure up a little bit.
The sewer reports and everything that I gave you, that didn't make any difference with them, showing how much we decreased.
I doubt it didn't, they've got all that. We just haven't got an answer back from him. Every time he's gonna let somebody else give us something back pretty quick.
It's not raining, we dropped from
Yeah, to nothing. You go down-
50, 75,000 down to 6 and 7,000, that's a whole lot cut.
Yeah. And when it's raining, you're not going to that.
No.
Oh, yeah, it's helped out a whole lot what we did. I mean, just, replacing all the manholes.
I think the big hole up is still, in there.
Well,
And they're still flooding until they get there to stop. They're sort of holding you back.
well, if you don't mind, holler at them again. And another thing under old business, I talked to Miss Weaver earlier. I did speak to GE about the dog situation. I have not talked to Tommy yet, but I will. And GE's all for forming a committee and taking it from there and see what we can, come up with. And I'll get with Tommy. Maybe we can get a committee formed and get that started. So. Anything else under old business, anybody? Ann?
The paving from the fire hall, how is it coming along? On what-
Contract was signed
The 3rd.
the 3rd, so he's probably next week is kind of what he indicated to me is when he would actually get started. So we,
This week. End of this week.
but we're gonna try to, I'm gonna get with Darryl Gray and see if there ain't some way I can temporary from the part of the paved parking lot that we're gonna leave and get us access in and out. We may just go ahead and try to do that all in one pour rather than having 2 pours in it, and having a joint in it. I'm gonna talk to Darryl and see if that's anything that we can do on that. But he's got 60 days from, was it Thursday or Friday we met with him? A good contract?
3rd, Thursday.
Thursday. He's got 60 days from Thursday for a completion. Which the way things are looking, I don't think rain's gonna be a major holdup.
And he is going to do everything like it was in the contract. He's
Right.
gonna dig it up, he's gonna haul it off.
Right.
The boys are not gonna have to do
No,
anything.
they're not gonna touch nothing.
Okay. Thank you.
I got a question before we move on. Go ahead, Jerry.
Go ahead.
I'm just thinking, with the fire we had on Lumber Lane a couple weeks ago, how's our fire hydrant dispenser? Do we check, seems like a couple years ago or so, you went around checking them. Are they all working properly in the city, or?
Jerry does all the checking, I just paint them,
Okay,
put the markers up.
Once a year, we'll go around and
Checking 'em.
and check them.
okay,
If it's not working, we black bag it.
okay. Everything else that's not black bag should be,
They're due, went around
Okay.
again now.
I was just curious when I was thinking about that.
You didn't have any trouble getting water the other day, did you?
No,
Okay,
no, that new line up Mother Lane worked good.
good.
Well, really, the line at Mobile Lane didn't have any pump wasn't on, that was just gravity.
Just gravity flow. I mean, they didn't have any trouble, getting water out of the hydrant, so.
The only time here in the else is the pumps are on.
Okay.
I've got something under old business. It was
Okay.
asked last month if we had a curfew for minors. There is a curfew for minors between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. They're not to be on the streets unless accompanied by an adult. And I'm going to fax this to Darrell and let him start getting these kids off the street 3 o'clock in the morning.
One more thing under old business.
Okay.
I did speak with Miss Harvey, and she asked me to send a formal letter to her requesting Old Stewart Road be named part of the school zone. We have done that. She has workshops before her board meetings, so she will take care of that and address it at that time. But I did bring it to her attention, and she thought that Old Stewart Road already was designated. I said, there's one sign, and I actually think there might be two. One of them's on the main road out here on 147, and then as soon as you turn in, there is one that's kind of hid in the corner of Otis Kelly's property. The only reason I seen it because I was looking for it this season. But it's white, and it don't have no yellow or nothing on it indicating that it's a school zone.
Right. I think all it says is 15 miles an hour
When-
from children are at play.
Right.
That's all it says.
Ain't there one in the fence down there by Larry's Cycle Trailer Board, school zone sign? There's one on Old Stewart Road that fence at Larry Sykes' Trailer Board.
Yeah.
There is one.
Have we got one on this upper end? Around the end of Church Street or anything? I didn't see one there, no.
I haven't seen any that represent the schools over anything. I've
No.
seen 15 miles an hour from children at play, but other than that.
And that's what I asked her, if she would designate it as a school zone. Don't really know if we'll be able to get a light on it. She didn't really go into depth with that. She was gonna bring, she thought it was already designated as a school zone, and I told her the light that was here, I believe it actually went with the old school that was tore down. And they changed the pole out, I believe, about 10 years ago, and it come down. And she's gonna check into it and then come back to us with their recommendations for us to approve it.
Well, I talked to some of the school board members since our last meeting too, so.
Okay.
And there's not a patrolman up here during,
Nope.
can we not talk to Darrell and see if we can't get somebody,
That's kind of one of those things, it's right there, if I'm not mistaken, around shift change time. So there's,
it's just getting,
right, if you'll notice, down in Erin, a lot of the mornings, they don't have one at the middle
Yeah.
school until closer, like 7:45.
Yeah.
One will show up at that time after they go on duty. So it's kind of one of those things, it's right in a time, and most of the time at night, he don't keep a light on, and day shifts coming on and whatnot. So it's kind of a deal with shift change on. But I will ask him, we get this and she hopes to have it done by next school year, so we can have the signage and whatnot up to where it'll be designated. She just thought that it was designated as a school zone, and I told her it wasn't. I thought there was a couple of signs, but there's nothing that says anything about school. All right, I'm done, Larry.
I'd like to bring something up about that. I live here at the Ridge, and I travel Old Stewart quite a bit. When it gets to be time to pick up the kids, that is a traffic hazard waiting to happen right there. Parents are parking on the road, and they're not pulling off the road because they can't. There's a ditch there. We need to look at something there too.
I don't really know if there is a solution to that.
You know, if it means setting up a program, and I understand that school board too, but if it means setting up a program where you pick up first, second, third graders,
That's the way they park
You know,
on the road.
a certain amount of time, and then after that, it goes to the next group like that.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
And the parents be made aware of it.
When it's
Because there's gonna be an accident there.
When it's time to pick up kids through there, it's
I mean, they park in the middle of the road, and you got 7 or 8 cars on one side of the road, and you got somebody that's going down Old Stewart, or they wanna go down Hurricane Loop. You know, they go out, swing out in the other lane. Well, the guy's doing it on the other end too.
I've actually been one of them guys sitting in that lane of traffic. But, you know, I understand what you're saying. And another thing that was a problem there, you have people coming both ways that, you know, usually when you see it, do you speed up or slow down? Most people speed up and come through there flying, and that's one reason why we want to designate it as a school zone, to where if it's not designated as a school zone, the Darling can't even write a ticket on it for speeding in a school zone until it's actually designated as one. But we do have a problem there, and the buses actually used to come this way. I think now they're bringing them to the back of the school, and that relieved a little of the pressure that was out there. But I agree, there is an issue there that, you know, that may be something else we need to address with them or whatnot.
It's worse in the summertime because you got people hauling trailers, because there's a ton of people cutting grass on the bridge and then airing, and when they come up this way, you know.
Yeah. Anything else under old business? If not, we'll move on to new business. We're getting into some budget changes.
Yeah, can I say something?
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're not really in order, but everything under new business except for ordinance 2012-138 relates to the budget.
Yep.
So you might want to do 2012-138,
Get it out of the way.
get it out of the way, and then
Okay.
I just did it as I was doing the. Not good.
That's it,
That's my amendments. From the
Yeah.
general fund,
right,
street account, gas account, and water and sewer fund.
okay. Yeah, I read
This is for this year's budget.
Right.
Yeah, 2011, 2012.
anybody got any questions on the amendment?
You want me
I make a motion we approve the amendments for this year's budget.
just ask them to approve that?
11, 12.
I hear a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Oh, yes.
Now we'll go back up to the,
Yeah.
the water rate change, if you've read it, it's, all it is changing is the minimum bill. If you use under, was it 2,000 gallons? That's all it will affect. Most people won't even see a change in it. Anybody have any questions on that? If not, do I hear a motion and a second to approve the water rate change?
Motion to approve.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Oh, yes.
The next, of course, these are all first readings too, next is a travel policy. The mileage probably changed on that, I've read it, but I can't remember what the way gas and all goes up, I'll say it changes daily, but,
Now, this is the first change since 2000.
yeah, probably needed to be changed, but.
Yeah. Because now it's money traveling.
It's going from, 51 to 60. 60 cents a mile when the employee has to travel on their own, vehicle.
And that'll actually be concurrent with the state after June the 30th, whenever they pass their new budget.
Now, this is just for travel, expenses that we're talking about now.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
If you use your own vehicle to go somewhere on city business, we'll reimburse you 60 cents
60
a
cents a
mile.
mile.
When Nancy and Travis and them go on their schools, we reimburse them on the mileage they put on their vehicles of going to.
Travis
and
gets to
coming
take a truck, I have to use my own vehicle.
back. You can take a truck.
No, they won't let me take a truck.
You can drive that bucket truck.
Yeah, they won't let me have that either.
Yeah, you gotta leave that new lawnmower.
I'll get Spencer's car.
There you go. Drive Spencer's car.
Go for it.
Got all, yeah.
No, thank you.
Is there
He'll be arrested for
a
impersonation.
stipulation on what we're gonna call business?
Yes, ma'am, it's in the ordinance. Anytime they have to travel for work, for city business, whatever that may be.
Like when I go to my classes, that's city business. When they have to attend a meeting, let's say in Nashville, that's city business. If y'all have to attend a meeting somewhere, it's city business.
Right.
As long as it's pre-approved by the city manager, it's city business. I mean, you don't just go,
You're not going for fun, are you?
yeah. No, I'm not going for fun,
It's on
trust me.
city business, but you've throwed in some personal stuff there, I mean, there's.
No, this is
Where's
this is
personal?
just mileage. This ain't credit card receipt.
No, I'm talking about that.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve the amendment to the travel policy on first reading.
We have a motion, do I hear a second? All in favor say aye.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
The next ordinance is the commissioner rate. You see we went up like $25. We haven't had one in
Since 2006.
2006. So,
I'm against this.
Anybody have any comment? No?
Well, in my opinion, I just don't think it's the proper thing to do.
We are, well, I mean, we're in line with other, not only just in this county, but other counties are probably more than we are. We're lots more than we are. So, I just want to keep, keep everybody, to be able to keep everybody involved. You're not getting rich up here by no means. But, that's just to keep everybody pretty close to what's, I know we're still behind, but that's getting it up a little closer to what everybody else is.
Well, we haven't got to the other part, the next one, which I'm tying this in with it,
Oh.
so I can't say anything till we
Uh,
finish up.
But we'll discuss that too here.
I make a motion motion we approve the ordinance on first reading.
We have a motion on the table. Here a second. I'll second. Do a roll call vote.
Stoney,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Hackett. I'm right, I'm sorry, right? Yes.
No.
And
No.
2-0.
So the motion passed on the first reading. We'll have another reading on it next month. Next thing on the agenda is the ordinance to what is the budget. So that's, I guess you could say we're into that. So the next thing is going to be the tax rate, and we had a 3-cent tax rate raise, which didn't generate, if you look in the budget, but like $4,000. We had not had a tax raise, and actually the tax rate went down in
It's been at least 10 years.
it's
since
been
this went.
2000. When they reassessed the property went up. Everybody's assessment went up, so we dropped our tax rate down.
To maintain where we was.
Right, and of course, 3 cents is a tax rate. Of course, we haven't had a tax rate raise in 10 years, so 3 cents is not no great amount. I know it is an amount, but and it's not going. $4,000 is $4,000. But and if you, of course, if you'll read on in the budget, we're cutting everything. If you've read where we've cut, we'll get into that in a minute. But we're trying to come up with some money to build City Hall, to help make the payment on the City Hall. So that is part of that. So
Well, I don't know what proper way to say this is, but legally, but in my opinion,
yes, ma'am.
if you're gonna raise the tax rate on the citizens, the residents,
Mm-hmm.
then it sounds a little bit, when you're raising $25 a month for one person to come to a meeting one time a month. I mean, that's what, that was my concern.
Okay.
Because I just think that people are really not gonna like it.
Well, that's one way to put it. I mean, it's okay.
Whether you raise the commissioners meeting pay or not, you still need the 3-cent tax raise to help make the City Hall payment as it gets built. If you can see the difference in, let me see. It's like, if you look at last year's budget, this year's
Yeah,
budget,
it's,
it's
I
like
mean, actually, we should have
less
had,
than $900 a year. Second
I
page.
mean, I
general
can
fund is first.
understand that because, the Tennessee, the city, everything that they do is costing more because it's costing everybody else more,
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I mean, and for years, we took the city itself has took the brunt of all the raises and increases, uniforms, gas, propane, everything.
One thing that's helped, the reason why we have not had a rate increase in the last several years is we was in a contract with the county on dump. And we was paying them $70,000 a year to use the county landfill, which that ended up going away anyway, and that's the reason why we've been able to buy some of the equipment that we bought and not go up on the taxes because we left that 70-something, 72,000, I think is what we was paying on that. And we just kind of let time go by and water, chemicals, electricity, and everything has kind of consumed that over the last 10-year period, and that's where we're at on that. That's the reason why there is an increase at this time.
Yeah, of course, you probably read in your packet, but let's see, it's water and sewer. Receivables. You can see how much, the change in the tax rate was, what 3 cents generates. If I can find it, I'll send it there. It's right at $4,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, 36 something.
36 something.
And two of our major areas we cut this year in the budget was the fire department and our donations. Some of our donations,
Everything's been cut in half.
Spencer, I spoke with him, and we cut 10,000 out of the fire department budget, and then we cut around 65 out of the donations budget. And so that's going to help on what we have to do on the city hall pavement.
The 3 cents, if you own a home with $50,000, it's going to cost you like $15 a year. 3 cent raise. More.
As an outsider, if I could throw 3 cents in there. I live in Harrisonville. And
We hope you do throw your 3
we,
cents in there.
Yeah.
you know, and I work with a lot of cities through Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama that are your size, smaller, a lot of them larger. Very few of them have said like you guys have and not raised taxes and not reimbursed yourself for time that you put. If you're a board member at a city and the only time you're putting in that is that hour that you come up here or 2 hours for a meeting once a month, then you haven't publicized yourself enough, because you should be getting calls at home from city folks that have questions or comments or complaints that you have to take care of, and sometimes you'll have 5-6 hours a week answering those things and checking with city officials to make sure those things get taken care of, whether it be a dog issue, whether it be a light issue, whether it be potholes in the road, want to know what you've done about those things, and they hold you accountable for those. So getting a little bit of money to reimburse your time for that, everybody expects that or should. The other thing is that if a city sets and they're not expanding their boundaries, they're not bringing in more area that they can collect taxes off of, then they're going to go downhill because the cost of everything's going up unless they raise their taxes accordingly. If you watch the different cable companies that come into an area, unless they add services, unless they add houses during the year when they bring that system in, then they're going to escalate the price because they've got to cover their costs. They've got to cover their mileage out to take care of. They've got to cover their equipment. They've got to cover the people that they're working for, because you don't want to train somebody to a project and then have them leave because you didn't give them a raise. You can't give them a raise unless you got more income coming in. So when you were elected to this seat, you were elected to be a good steward of the city, not necessarily not raise taxes and not reimburse yourself for what you're doing. You were elected to be a good steward, and that's what they expect. And a good steward doesn't let something go downhill and then have to raise it a whole lot. You raise it a little bit in increments, or you expand your boundaries, you annex areas, bring it into the city where you bring the money. Or you work on building a tax base, a sales tax base, by bringing in commercial sandwich places or grocery stores or whatever the case may be. You promote those things to bring them into where you raise your income. that's me and Rich Stewart what's here, and that's taking care of the city and the people that elect you to take care of this office. You can't set, and this is a very moderate increase right here from what I'm seeing, it's not gonna help you a lot. And next year, you're probably looking at possibly raising it again. And that doesn't hurt anything. If you raise it a little bit every year, you stay out of trouble for the most part. But if you go 2 years, 3 years, 5 years without raising rates, and you eat money that you've got coming in for something else to offset that, then you're not doing the citizens here the way you think they're doing. Harrisonville will very seldom go through without raising rates on up. I mean, we're probably the highest tax place in the state right now, but by the county and the city together. But we get a lot of services for that. But I wouldn't feel bad about raising taxes like that. Like I said, I'm an outsider. I don't live here. I've worked here for several years, and I know a lot of the folks here, and I see their interest and know what they look for in commissioners. Because I've answered some of the questions from the commissioners when they come, had people come to them to talk about those things. You're here for more than one meeting a month.
You know, if people don't tell you, and I'm out and about
Yeah.
everywhere, you know, the people I talked to when I got my names together, you know, I told them anything that you want brought before the board, give me a call, you know. So
You'll start.
they know.
It'll start.
See, and I understand what Ms. Hill's saying, because I'm out and about now more than probably most of y'all, except for maybe Kenneth in this county, maybe Ray. But it's gonna look like they're raising the tax to pay for the $25.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna tell you, guys,
you're gonna get
there's a lot of people in this county that are scraping it. I'm lucky, I'm unemployed and I'm drawing unemployment, but my wife works for the school system, she's got a good job. And I'm gonna tell you, if it wasn't for that, we'd be scraping the bottom of the barrel. And there's a lot of people in this county that are counting pennies. And I know 3 cents is 3 pennies, but, you know, $50,000 house, like she said, okay, it's $15. But that $15 might also feed that family for one night. And I don't think she's got a problem with the rate hike.
No.
It's just the timing of the two together. Because I'm gonna tell you, with the I mean, I haven't been to a lot of meetings in the last year, but I was here when they tried to bring the codes in up here and all that. With the exception of the codes meeting, I've never seen more than 3 or 4 people at a meeting. And the only reason that was because there's a lot of people who got a lot of junk in their yards. And they didn't want to have to find a way to get rid of it. And right now, you know, I mean, and I don't know what the unemployment rate is in Houston County. I would venture to say it's probably 25%.
It's about 9%, 10%.
I bet it's better than that.
I know, yeah, I got a press release on it not too long ago, about 9%.
I don't believe that. There's too many people that ain't working. I see them every day. And they're not working at night. What the problem is you're seeing what people on unemployment, people that are filing for unemployment and
Well, this
getting
comes from the
unemployment.
state, so.
And there's a lot, well, that's exactly where it's coming from. There's a lot of people that are past their 99 weeks. And I'm gonna tell you, it took me 7 weeks to get unemployment. And I had to fight every week for it. And that's what there's people losing their houses left and right because they've lost their jobs. And that'll lead into something, the other reason why I'm here tonight.
I don't disagree that it's been a tough economy, but like Dean said, if I've seen it over in Paris and I've seen it, there were several places last year come budget time that were raising taxes 33, 35 cents, and it's because a lot of them has sat there for 5, 8, 10 years and not done anything. I sat through, I cover meetings for my job over in Paris at the radio station, and they had to go up 15 cents on their tax rate. And they're probably looking at another 5 cents or so, maybe more this year.
But see,
And
that's-
because they've sat there and they haven't done one, and I've been working over there, I guess, 8 years now, that's the first time they've raised it.
And did it coincide with the pay raise for the commission?
I think they get that every year over there. You know,
That's what she's saying. The majority of the people,
The way-
they'll see it on the television, maybe, you know, I don't know how many people have Houston County cable. I don't. I've got Dish.
yeah.
Most people I know have either got direct or Dish. But they don't get Channel 12 on those stations,
Mhm.
so they don't see it. And that's what they're gonna see, Tim.
And like I said, it's, you know, nobody can sit here and say they want to raise taxes. Nobody wants to. But if you continue to have the services that we have and you want to increase and you want to maybe perhaps bring business into the city, you've got to pay for things. And just like it's gone up on all of us individually every year, it goes up for the city every year. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say I want to raise tax. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants them as an individual. Nobody wants to do it as an elected official. Nobody wants to raise taxes ever. But you have to from time to time.
She's not arguing the tax raise. She's
No,
just
I
arguing-
understand that. I understand that point. But like I said, if I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of communities that have gone several years and not done it, and then they're looking at 30, 33, that hurts people. 3 cents a year for 3 years, yeah, that's 9 cents. But at least and we're not, you know, I mean, it may be 3 cents this year, we may not do it again for 2 or 3 years, and that's fine. But when you start waiting, then you have to hit somebody with 30 cents, that hurts people.
I understand.
That's a big difference. 3 cents is a difference, and I'm not saying it's not. There's some folks that really that hurts, because there is.
Well, everybody is aware that if you want any kind of services from your community, your city, or whatever, you've got to pay taxes, you know. And anybody that says you can get by without it is not very smart. But what I'm saying is, don't make yourself look bad in front of everybody you're supposed to be representing.
I see your point, but I think even months of a differentiation, somebody will still drag it out. Somebody will still say that. You know, I'm not saying probably even worse.
Maybe
this
1 or
way.
2 or 10 or
It's
15,
still
but it's
been
gonna
blowing
be a
up.
bunch of people this time.
It's all, anytime you do something like that, it's blowing up like this.
Well, I believe I can say I have stood for the people of this city
Yeah.
like a rock. If they call me and tell me they don't want me to have this $25, I'll be the first one to vote next time no.
Well, you have. You've been here a long time. Kenneth has too.
Uh-huh.
And Ray's been here a long time.
So, I just,
Now, I really do. You know, I'm aware. I believe that you have Tennessee Ridge at heart.
yes, man, I think everybody up here does. I mean, from everybody in this room does. And I think we want what's best for Tennessee Ridge. And we show that by sticking together. We've stuck together on things in the past from as long as I can remember. And I believe that's what makes Tennessee Ridge. And I believe that's why we're blessed the way we are.
And we have a lot of elderly people.
Yes, ma'am. I know we do. I know we have a lot of people on fixed incomes up here.
Yep, they're sure.
And I realize that $15 when you're on a fixed income is $15. And
But the state of Tennessee has the ones on fixed income with their taxes too.
yes, ma'am, we have they have tax relief programs for
And you
people.
can make up to $26,000 a year and get tax relief.
They go up on that.
Yeah, they go up every year.
Every year
Right
on
now,
that.
it's $26,350 you can
Uh.
make and get tax relief. And they adjust it to what the tax rate is. It's not a set rate. Whatever your tax rate is, they do a formula for it, and you get that much relief off of it.
Yeah. Of course, we've done on the raise. I mean, it's just a deal that I know everybody up here phone rings. I know mine does. I know Ann's does, and Tim's I raised, I mean, everybody, somebody calls me every night, and Tim's worked on the, the Ridge Fest stuff is, every once a week for the last year.
Well, everybody confuses my phone number with the woman. Which is a coveted, but nobody knows that. So.
We all know him as Dub. But yes, ma'am, if people come to me and talk to me about this, by the next month, it'll be another reading on it. Of course, we gotta pass it the second time, so. But for right now, I need a motion and a second on the tax rate. Yea or nay, one way or another, we need to.
Well, that's 70 here, it's just 73.
It'll go to 70.
It'll go to 70.
Current rate is 60 cents,
Okay, it's
67 cents.
67, yeah.
Okay, good.
It's going to 70. Do I hear a motion to pass the tax rate for 2012 and 13?
I've made them all, I'm gonna let somebody else.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. It's something that we're gonna have to do if we plan for
Right.
the city to grow. Everything's gotta grow to make it all go.
I'll say.
We'll do a roll call vote on this one too, believe you.
Stoney,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Only 3 cents, yes.
Becca. Huh?
She said
Yes or no?
I said on the 3 cent,
yes.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Ann?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. The budget's still open if whatever we want to discuss about it. So if you look in there on the donations that we have done in the past for years, I think that's something that we can be proud of that we have done over the years to support our community the way we have. No other government entity does what we've done, and I hate to cut it, but it's come a time to where I think the people up here really want this city hall, and I think it's going to be a valuable asset to the community, and I think it just come a time to cut the budget on some things, and if y'all want to look at that and discuss any of those cuts, we're.
I've not heard anybody say anything about none wanting the city hall.
Mhm.
They have said something about the price that was given to, the land, but,
Yeah. When I
I'm
said-
trying to make you a point where it's
When you-
at. How many acres it is, everything's there, you won't have to put anything for electric, water, and sewer, and everything.
Well, just tell them the other option was 125 for 3 acres.
It was actually our cheapest option.
They need to try to price something like this over time. Here.
If you a new landowner in here, cause I ain't.
I'll tell you what, I tried to buy land through here and just put my own building on it. It was impossible.
Yeah.
You can't touch land in here.
Mm-mm.
I don't understand that.
I can't believe I'm cutting Christmas decorations $5,000. That's just ridiculous. Enough's enough.
Hey, I'm getting to see y'all.
Yeah, the houses,
Okay.
the land, the land.
If you noticed, we had to cut the youth center too.
And they're aware of that. I let them know last year.
Yes, we did let them know that we was going to have to cut. We let the youth center know last year to give them a heads up. Did you know we donated $5,000 a year for the last 5 years?
Ever since it's been out.
We supported that 100% or what we could, and of course
Now it's time to support us.
and we did let them know last year that they was going to be a cut.
Well, wasn't that supposed to be self-operating by now anyway? I'm all for giving them, I mean, it's good for the community.
Yeah.
And I don't, and 500, we're still giving them $500, so, I don't, that's,
It's a tax exempt organization, is it through a church or what?
Excuse me?
She says it's tax exempt organization. Yes, it is. It's actually run by the county, right?
The county got a grant, what, 5 or 6 years ago to start that, like a $50,000 grant to start that with. And at one time, the city of Erin supported it, the county supported it, and we supported it. But since then, the city of Erin dropped out. They dropped out 3 years ago on it, and I'm sure the county's still doing their part.
Well, we need enough, we need things for the.
Oh, yeah. But it's like Tim said, after a certain amount of time, I think it was supposed to, I was on the board at one time, it was supposed to come self-sufficient at
Yeah.
one time, but self-funded, but it goes back to the way the economy is, things are tough all over, so. So if y'all have any questions on anything, Nancy can answer them. If not, we can get an answer before the next reading on it.
Yeah, Nancy's real good at answering questions about it. You know, they keep you on the phone today an hour and a half asking questions about it, so she's real good at answering the question and explaining it to you.
When you move forward, I got one thing I need to bring up.
Go ahead and
This has nothing to do with the budget or whatnot. Me and Jerry's been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. We've got a couple of issues with some creeks close to our infrastructure that if we end up getting another hard rain like we got earlier or late last year, that we could have some exposed sewer pipes and water lines on the Mobley Lane area and down at the pump station on 147. The creek is within what, Jerry? 1.5 foot of our lines at both locations?
Well, a little further at pump station, but closer on Mobley Lane.
And we have been in contact with a fellow to haul us some big riprap, what they call the shot rock, probably a couple of foot size boulders. Me and Jerry just kind of rough figured it and figured about 5 loads. And we have got a price to haul gravel and have it delivered for $500 a load. And what we're asking the board to do is appropriate $3,500. That should give us up to about 7 loads in case we needed any more. And we're just asking for the board to amend the budget to where if we need 7 loads, we can get 7 loads. But we honestly are believing that 4 or 5 may take care of our issues. If you'll notice when you go down Mobley Lane, have you noticed where the rebar and the yellow tape is tied next to the road? That's our main concern. It's within 1.5 foot of it. And then the pump station down here, you know, if it gets disturbed, if we was to have another May 12th and it got disturbed, that would actually shut down all of our sewer system because everything gravities to that pump and turns back around and comes up to Tennessee Ridge, to Hurricane, back down to Erin. So it's just kind of a measure to keep anything from happening, so we'd have a loss of services.
Yeah, that was on 147 is,
If you notice, after the May the 12th flood, it ate in a little bit towards the pump station, and then we had some heavy rains back. I'm believing it was at the end of November. It actually ate a little bit more of the bank out, and me and Jerry's had numerous conversations about it, and we feel if we get some big shot rock put in there and then cap it off with some 6 or 8 inch riprap, that I think that'll take care of our problem at those 2 locations.
And
see,
the one on
that's in
Mobley
between
Lane,
2
yeah,
hills.
it's anywhere from what, 12, 15 feet deep.
Right, and it
So that's
is.
the reason nobody's so much rock.
You're getting graded off from both sides.
Yes, we are. And it's just something that, and I spoke with Nancy about it, and it's something that I thought we better bring up to the board to just make y'all aware of if y'all would appropriate it. We're hoping we can do it with about 5 loads. But the depth of the one on Mobley Lane is where it may end up taking a little more. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I just have one question. When you do this, will it work?
Yes. There's not a doubt in my mind that it won't work.
Okay.
It's worked everywhere else.
Got that on tape.
Got that on tape, got it on TV.
But the
I got that on tape.
the shot rock he's talking about is, it's a whole lot bigger than
Okay.
the regular riprap.
It won't float away then.
Yeah,
No.
that's, yeah.
I guess it's what they actually put in down there behind Fred Finley's shop when that pole washed out down there.
Mhm.
They filled all that back up with shot rock, and it's big boulders.
I make a motion to approve.
For that,
Moving the,
The amount was so
yeah,
much.
3,500. I think that'd be 7 loads. I believe we can do it with 5.
hate to not do it and something like that happen and we're really in a mess.
Y'all can waste your work out here.
True.
What are you calling that? I mean, that project, what's
I guess it's
reinforcement of?
yes,
Or what?
Erosion prevention.
erosion control.
prevention. Okay,
Is it-
now I got you.
Is there anything left in Ben's, this is May, budget's gonna be over with in June, is there anything left in the
This
budget
is-
that we could use?
This was
This
gonna
is
have,
just a new complete thing that has nothing to do
this
with water, sewer?
this is coming out of fund balance. Because there's no line item to get $3,500 out of.
There is.
No.
If
This-
you'll
This comes
remember-
out of the estimated fund balance at the end of the year.
We brought this up about a year and a half ago, so right after the May flood.
Yeah.
And that's whenever we thought we was getting the great sum of money from FEMA,
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
which,
that didn't work out.
I
We
guess
ended-
it's safe from, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess it did, I guess.
we are now, but at that time, we was hoping to maybe get our sewer pumps fixed, some road issues took care of, and that's one reason why this was kind of put on hold. And then they come back last year and told us the only thing we could use that particular money for was portable generators. So that's the reason why this is kind of drug out.
Started out, what was it, Dean, started out to be over $1 million and got down to just 300 or 400? Nothing. Did anybody get anything out of it?
Some people got a promise of it, they ain't got the money.
Oh, they ain't got the money
Some
yet.
did get some money, but they didn't get.
What they was, yeah.
Seemed like it had 130 million over 18 counties or something like that.
Yeah, but I
Didn't
don't
ever
think it
happen.
panned out to be that.
We actually decided to go for a water plant. Really looked good the first 6 months and then
Yeah.
kind of went south.
We have a motion on the table to,
Yes.
oh, and you got a second?
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Back to the budget, no, we've done, we'd already passed that, okay. Anybody got anything else on the budget?
Well, we passed the tax rate, didn't we?
Yeah, you pass the tax rate. To be on the safe side, I would pass the budget
The
also.
regular, the whole budget?
I make a motion, we approve the budget on first reading as presented. We can change it up next month if we need to.
Right.
Second.
Okay.
I would, since it's a budget, we'll do a roll call on this too, Woody, if you want to.
Stoney?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Anybody got anything else?
Bridge Fest is Saturday.
Ridge Fest
Starting
Saturday?
at 10 a.m. It looks like it's gonna be a gorgeous day, sunny and 78 degrees, so
Everybody come out,
Rain.
buy you a hot dog.
we're gonna have it there, rain or shine. If it rains, we're gonna move stuff inside, but it looks like it's gonna be nice and got, what we decided this morning, 18 vendors, I believe?
18, got all the inflatables coming back.
Inflatables are coming back, music all day. So y'all come on out and enjoy it.
I got Ray.
He's gonna be in it.
You
Yeah,
got
Gary's
what?
gonna be
You
Okay.
want to ask him about that?
Yeah. Before we adjourn anything, I'm putting a, city is putting an ad in the paper for graduating seniors. Does anyone have anybody graduating that we can recognize
Yeah.
that I don't already know about? Okay. Nope.
Kenneth, you want to ask about the phone for Sturt County Fire that we used the other day?
Yes, Stewart County Fire come over to our fire at the Dew residence last week on a mutual aid agreement.
Was that the haul out of Carlisle, was that the one?
They actually sent their specialized truck, which was the phone truck, and 2 tankers over.
Okay.
And they used some of their foam product, which we do not keep or maintain. And I feel we need to reimburse them for their foam or buy them some foam and send it back to them. I think it was, what, about
About
$100
$150.
Oh,
worth of material that they used. So I just wanted to kind of make the board aware that we would be either receiving a bill or something from them. Because I believe that they would probably do the same thing if we had a specialized truck that used a certain type of material. Although they did come on mutual aid, but
Still saying mutual aid, they supposed to come, have to come.
right, but they didn't have to bring the foam truck. They thought it might be a little bit, work a little bit better in the situation. So, got somebody over there.
okay. Yes, ma'am?
I want to get back to the graduation question you had. There is Miss Houston County's graduating high school. To recognize that is Katie Reynolds.
She works at the dollar store.
Yeah.
Mary Jane,
She's
granddaughter.
Mary Jean's granddaughter.
Brandon.
Brandon and Teresa's daughter. I'm sorry. Mary Jean's friend. But maybe recognize her because she is Miss Houston also. Houston County, sorry, Miss Houston County.
Okay. You got that wrote down, didn't you? In order, if they send us a bill on that, I guess we just wait to see they send us a bill, Kenneth or Spencer, that'd be okay?
Yeah, however y'all want to handle it. I mean, I just asked Kenneth if we could do that. I mean, because foam is high.
Yeah.
And, they didn't have to bring the specialized truck, which did
Right.
help us. Because that truck actually only used 2,000 gallons of water and was there the entire time. So,
Right. Well,
Can I look into how we can reimburse them, since it's mutual aid, for it to be legal?
right.
Because I may have to write it to the foam company and not to Stewart County.
Okay.
Will this be coming out of the fire department budget?
Not,
There's
it's not
a
in
line
mine.
item- there's a line item in there for that. I mean,
the city's going to be receiving a check from Farm Bureau, so.
Oh, just a run around.
Just a turnaround.
Okay.
Farm Bureau will pay us the $500, all insurance companies pay
Yeah,
us.
and I wanted to say that I am glad to see that after all these years that we finally did that. Because I suggested several years ago and asked about it. And I didn't know whether it had been implemented or not, but I was glad to see that in the packet, that we are utilizing what we can.
How long have you been doing that, Spencer?
We've been doing it for several years, but you can only do it for structure fire.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of house fires.
Yeah.
Passing the road.
Right.
But you just never had brought it to our attention before that you did it, if you had not been doing it. I know at the time that I brought it up several years ago, you were not, because you made the remark, you felt bad about having to charge them for going out, and I think Clint Reynolds was here at that time, and we explained, that that's what they paid their insurance for, and it was no burden on them. But I'm glad to see that you're doing that.
Dan, do you have something else?
Yep, I sure do. I think Stoney, Kenneth, and Nancy are all aware of this problem. At least the person that told me about it has said they spoke to you. They've also spoke to G.E. Clark, and I think her name's Diane Morrison. There's a house at 380 North Main. The grass is 3 foot tall. And the lady's dog has killed one snake coming out of there.
Can I interject something on that? The problem is we do not have a definite record of who the mortgage holder is. This is the second year running that we have actually checked into this, and we can't get them to return none of our phone calls on it.
So in other words, nobody's paying tax on this house.
Apparently not.
Not right now. But Kenneth, I haven't seen Kenneth since me and Sid got together and finally found somebody to send a letter to. We sent it to them, certified letter, return receipt, and I got the return receipt back in the mail last Thursday. So the mortgage company that bought the mortgage from this house has the letter in their possession. They have 15 days from the day of this letter. Then the city has to decide how they want to proceed, whether
Well,
we go and mow the yard and put a lien on the house. Therefore, we'll have to get with Sid, because putting a lien on the house is not as simple as,
what we
mowing it and
what we
putting a lien
usually
on it.
do is sign him, in this situation, it's mortgage, and we sign them to court, and they come before Woody, and he gives them a time. Then they don't do that, we take care of it, and
Well, no individual owns this house, a mortgage company.
It's still in the individual's name, but they've gone. There's a note on the
It's a
door
ban.
that says the locks have been changed.
right, I seen it today. I actually had it on my
The
list.
locks have been changed, and it gives a number to call.
Oh,
And
does it?
she called that number, and they told her that they weren't aware of any house in that area. And the biggest problem is, and I've talked to both of the neighbors on both sides, they've got an increased pest problem, and they're both ready to go to one of the news stations with it.
Well, I mean, they're welcome to go to the news station, but,
It needs to be handled, it's ridiculous. I mean, I walked
I mean,
through it
that's what I just
today,
told you, it's being
and I had
handled.
ticks all over me.
we're trying, I mean, we're trying to do the best we can with it. I mean, we got steps we gotta go through.
You know,
But like I said, I think it was last Friday I talked to you, Sid, about that, didn't I?
Yeah, we looked and we found.
why does the county not have a record of who has that?
Well,
The
we-
county should have a record on that, because she was told, when she called down there, that they have no record of which mortgage company has that house.
That's, I don't know if that's true or not, but there is a record of the owner, and the owner, as you know, is Tammy and William Laxton on record, but they've left.
they walked out of it. I mean, it'd be like you walking out of yours and letting it grow
I
up.
understand that.
And,
So, I mean, it took me forever to find somebody to even send a letter to, because this started back last year.
And I understand letting your grass get like
oh,
this.
I seen it.
But when it gets that high, there needs to be something to where that's put on their taxes.
Oh, it will be
Something like
eventually. I
that.
mean, like you said, we get with Sid, we can, I mean, if it comes down to us mowing it, we'll mow it. But,
If the bank repossessed it, then it's the bank's obligation to mow it.
That's who I sent the certified
Well,
letter to.
exactly. But we have nothing in place to make them mow. That's what I'm saying.
We've got a city ordinance
Well, you know,
that states you have to keep your yard to a certain specification.
okay, well, you know.
like I said, we've got certain steps we have to go through.
But, you know, I mean, it's not fair to either one of those two neighbors that this is the second year and they've both had, you know, extreme pest problems. And not just mice, I'm talking snakes.
Yeah, she told me when I talked to her that her dog had killed a snake next door. And that was 2 weeks ago when me and her spoke at the rescue.
And I mean, I cut her lawn and I cut it 3 swipes over into the other lawn. And Sid Cathy cuts the other guy's lawn and he cuts it over into that lawn too to try and keep it off, the problem down.
Yeah, I mean, the neighbor called me too, and you know, there's certain steps that we go through with that we have to do, that we got to stay within the law too.
I understand that you have to stay within
Yeah.
the law.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess what they came to me with was, they were both so upset because this is the second year now. You know,
They left in September of last year.
September of last year.
Of course, it was hot.
And it does. I mean, I've come out
Grass
every day.
was growing
It
last
does.
year.
I mean, it looks
After they
terrible. I
moved.
mean,
My contact them like that, they don't know.
yeah, it is. I mean,
And it looks terrible.
they've got how many days to answer?
15 days from the date they received the letter, which I've got their little green card, return receipt card. So 15 days from that date. I didn't even look at the date, I just attached it to the letter that I sent. Put it in the file.
I know last summer we had several different places throughout the ridge here that Banks was in charge of. Usually, when you do find who owns it, that they get someone down here, that's like the one over on Church Street. There was somebody here within the week and had it cut. So, but the problem was before, nobody wanted to really claim ownership to it.
I mean, and I understand their point. I would be hot as fire if I was having to
Oh,
live
no.
next to that.
Mhm.
But they have no intention
No,
coming back to the
they're
house
gone.
and selling the house. or
They're gone.
just
No,
let
they
it go,
left
just
the house.
paying
The
it.
locks have been changed. It's not even their house anymore. And like I said, the mortgage has been sold to another mortgage company. So, fingers crossed. But I want it all
Okay,
back.
so when, if they don't answer the letter, how long before he gets to talk to them?
Well, if they don't answer the letter, I mean, I guess
That's signed on the court.
we cite them to court, and if they don't, of course, they do that, they'd be in contempt of court, I guess. I don't know, that goes with Sid and Woody, what would you do? They just don't show up to court.
If they don't show, they lose the case. They get the notice to be there. And they lose the
All the
case.
city can find them is $50.
Oh,
But then you can decide to have it cut, right?
right. We can,
Yeah,
set-
the
yeah,
city can.
we can go mow it
Where the city can do it.
and put a lien on the,
There's a procedure, we never have done it. Been there since
It's a procedure.
1976.
most people take care of, mow the
Usually
yard.
get taken care of some other way, so,
Okay.
yeah, it's in there.
And if it goes that far, we'll take it that far. But, I mean, just because we never have done it, don't mean we won't do it.
I mean, they're just concerned, and I understand their point,
Mhm.
you know?
Well, that's even
It's a health hazard,
well,
really.
it's a fire hazard too. I mean, if somebody flips a cigarette or something over, because you know there's dead stuff there, you know.
Yes, ma'am. But we are aware of it. I know one of the neighbors has contacted me, and I knew that we was doing the process.
Working, yeah,
Work,
trying to find
doing the
somebody.
process. Anything else? Anybody? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.